Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the third Solar and Hydrogen Madrid Conference 2022. My name is Esther Molina. I'm going to be your host today. It's a pleasure to me to be here. To represent, of course, to the organizer Energy Box, and I'd like to say thank you very much for all your presence. Voy a hacer una breve introducción, también en español, en cuanto al desarrollo de proyectos de energías renovables aquí en nuestro país, en España, muy breve, antes de dar paso al primer ponente de la mañana. En 2021, creo que todos sabemos que España aprobó la versión final de la ley INEF 2021-2030, que establece objetivos energéticos muy ambiciosos para el horizonte 2030. De 2021 a 2030 se requiere un despliegue total de 60 gigavatios de potencia de capacidad renovable, principalmente eólica y energía solar. También junto a 6 gigavatios de almacenamiento que se espera poner en funcionamiento con una inversión de alrededor de 200 millones de euros. Para 2030 se prevé una capacidad de instalación total del sector energético de 161 gigavatios de potencia, de los cuales 39 son fotovoltaicos. 16 son hidroeléctricos y alrededor de 9,5 son hidroeléctricos de bombeo y almacenamiento. Simplemente unos datos, también en español. So today, we've been here, we are honored to welcome so many extraordinary, fantastic experts and professionals get together today. We have 6 panels. To freely talk about all your opinions toward distribute and large scale, merchants and PPA, green hydrogen technologies, and of course combined with a storage topic. Es indudable que España va a ser protagonista absoluto de este futuro en esta inminente crisis energética mundial que se avecina y, lógicamente, un buen gobierno, sin importar incluso partidos políticos, cualquier ejecutivo que se precie debería pensar, debería tener muy en cuenta todas estas emisiones de carbono y cuidar sobre todo de las próximas generaciones. So, we expect today's event will provide the best experience in addition towards your business. We're honored to have Mr. Santiago González as the keynote speaker, who is the project manager of Hydrogen Expert en el IDEI del Ministerio de Transición Ecológica y el Reto Demográfico. Please come to stage giving us this excellent presentation topic of renewable hydrogen technologies and related business model. Please, big applause for him.
Gracias. Buenos días a todos. Muchas gracias por esta invitación a IDAE y en mi persona para participar en esta importante conferencia para tratar los temas de solares y del hidrógeno. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for this kind invitation. First, I just want to recap and remind you that during the preparation of the energy part of the Recovery, Transformation and Resilience Plan, Spain was not starting from scratch. We have a strategic framework for energy and climate that develops the opportunities, policies, and measures of the energy transition in the coming years and decades. It includes the Integrated Energy and Climate Plan to 2030, the long-term decarbonization strategy to 2050, with the opportunities that climate neutrality can bring to this very year, and the law on climate change and energy transition as an institutional framework to guarantee long-term stability of this frame. This framework is complemented by roadmaps that analyze opportunities and develop measures for specific sectors, such as the Hydrogen Roadmap, Renewable Hydrogen Roadmap of October 2020, the Energy Storage Strategy adopted in February 2021, or the Offshore Wind Energy Roadmap and Energies of the Sea, which was published in December 2021. We are before an opportunity to accelerate the implementation of this strategic framework for energy and climate. Spain is the European country with the largest solar resource and is among the countries with the largest wind resource, which allows renewable energies to be today the most economical way of generating electricity in our country, as has been shown by renewable generation auctions, which were held in 2021. Our country has a consolidated value chain in the field of renewable energies. In Spain, more than 60% of what is needed to build a photovoltaic solar park is manufactured in Spain, reaching 90% in the case of wind farms. This is a proof that betting on the right technologies at the right time is a country bet, a strategic country bet, I would dare to say, that generates wealth and employment alike. The PERTE era, in Spanish PERTE stands for Strategic Projects for the Recovery and Economic Transformation, focuses on innovation in renewable energies, 100% renewable hydrogen, and storage. We want to put in order the promotion of all these solutions on the way to a different energy reality. This PERTE era, will accelerate the energy transition with three main objectives. First is the objective to consolidate the national value chain in energy transition. Second is to maximize the opportunities of employment generation. And third is the position of our national business sector for future markets, not to be price takers, but more important, to be technology suppliers, exporters of technology, as we are in onshore wind power today. There are a number of other objectives and a minor level of priority that are named specific objectives of this PERTE, which is to demonstrate and implement solutions that are what we call 2050 ready. Those solutions that will be mainstream in 2050, we want to test and to demonstrate the viability just as of today. Promote technology transfer and collaborative environments. This is a great challenge in Spain because we want to push further the collaboration not only with research and technology centers, but also between companies within Spain and beyond. And training and qualification, which is a must. SMEs and startups should play a very important role in this strategy. And obviously, public-private and private collaboration is one of the goals of this PERTE. We want to promote the value chain of the energy transition and its integration into the productive fabric. Technology independence, strengthen industrial capacities, energy transition design and manufacture in Spain and by Spanish people. Strengthen citizen participation, new business models are all part of the goals that we want to achieve. The PERTE era is, as you probably have heard in different communications from the moment of its adoption last year in December until today, is based mainly on three components of the program of the Plan for Recovery, Transformation and Resilience, which are Component 7, which is targeting innovative renewables, Component 8, which is focusing on storage and flexibility, and Component 9, which is the one that is dealing with renewable hydrogen of this program for recovery. And given its innovative component, also there are other components within this recovery plan, like for instance Component 17, which is addressed and managed by Ministry of Science and Innovation. They are putting their own budget for the allocation of funds in this component. It's also part of the integral elements and are the core part of this PERTE era. PERTE era is made of in total of 25 transformative measures and 17 enabling measures, facilitating measures that are there to provide the necessary accompanying activities and measures to really implement thoroughly and completely the aims of the strategic goals and the regulatory policy aspects. This is also accompanied by a monitoring system for the next coming years. Innovation throughout the value chain as the conductive thread covering research and development and consolidation of technological and industrial capabilities and new business models, and commercial deployment. This is the final goal, to deploy commercial applications in the field, in the market which is a global market, not only focused on Spain and Europe, but the whole world. The synergies with other priorities, such as circular economy or the demographic challenge, the just transition, etc., is very relevant. Also, within the PERTE, we have designed what we call a next generation energy. This is a seal that provides a framework for those large projects or important projects which are sectoral or territorial projects that are comprehensive in nature due to the combination of different instruments of the recovery plan, due to their potential to achieve an impact greater than the sum of their constituents elements by taking advantage of the various synergies to address energy challenge strategically. The allocation to PERTE ERA in terms of resources and funding is as such. It's 3.6 billion euros in transformative measures, almost 3 billion out of that from MITECO, Ministry of Ecological Transition and Demographic Challenge, and IDAE. And the rest, as I said before, is covered by the component 17 from the Ministry of Science and Innovation. In addition to that, almost another 3.3 billion euros in enabling measures, which are, just to name a few, self-consumption programs, thermal renewable energy sources programs, sustainable gas mobility, training and capacities, upskilling, technology and digital field, etc. I just would like to keep on with this introduction by naming a few of the instruments that we have already published on behalf of MITECO and IDAE, which are already running and have been open for receiving proposals in the last few months. And just let me mention some of these very first instruments. Let me start by renewable hydrogen. Renewable hydrogen, we publish 4 programs which are addressing 4 specific measures of PERTE, which are covering what we name the value change, which is covering the increase and enhance of knowledge, innovation, and the creation of new capacities in a new value chain, which is the one that is attached to the hydrogen value chain. These first call for proposals are a kind of technology push to the offer side of the market on green hydrogen technologies. Innovations, new breakthroughs which are addressing different companies, different technology companies, which can be SMEs or large companies, technology centers and research centers, all together are encouraged to participate and collaborate by means of a consortia or a grouping of different companies or undertakings. The second call that we also launched at the same time, in parallel, this was in January this year, is the renewable hydrogen for pioneer and singular projects. This is a measure that provokes a demand pool for commercial applications, for the commercial deployment and integration into a new business model and create a value proposition based on this new vector, on this green hydrogen. We want to demonstrate that this is feasible, that this is profitable, and this is capable of to be implemented all over Spain in different regions, in different locations, in which we want to push further the local solutions based on hydrogen as a decarbonization vector. These are, for instance, a sort of new ecosystems based on renewable hydrogen. Also, with regard to the renewable hydrogen, we have projects funded under the mechanism which is named IPCI, Important Projects of Common European Interest, that just recently, last week, was announced by the European Commission. The result of the second notification, the second wave, which is addressing industrial decarbonization. 7 companies, 7 projects, Spanish projects, were chosen amongst the 35 all over Europe. And this is a recognition of a funding gap which is in the range of 5.4 billion euros. As well, in July, the first call, which was named the technology wave on EPCI, which was addressing research, development and innovation, was also announced by the European Commission, and there were a short list of 4 Spanish companies, Spanish projects that were incorporated in that. But I would like also to mention that there are other areas, other priority areas that we are trying to cover, and that is not only renewable hydrogen. is the innovative storage. Innovative storage as well, we published a call in the first half of this year. We have launched as well recently a new call on biogas and energy communities. These are examples in practical terms of what we are aiming to, and on behalf of the investment part of the recovery plan, because as you know, the recovery plan has another angle which is more on the reforms. This is something that we have met thanks to the roadmaps, thanks to the regulatory framework. For instance, in renewable hydrogen, in May was published the Guarantees of Origin Royal Decree, which approves this very framework for renewable gases and also implements some of the provisions of the Renewables Directive. And we want to develop and to implement further and to advance into a management procedure, etc., for this part of the reform. But I want to continue, obviously, with another zoom out of what we are beyond what we are doing in Spain, what is happening in the European Union, what is happening in our continent. I would like to mention that obviously this strategy fits nicely with the policy goals and latest orientations at the EU level. During the last address of the State of the Energy Union this month, the President of the European Commission, Ms. von der Leyen, made some key statements with positive messages that I want to raise to you today. There are encouraging lines to take, and the main elements impacting on renewables and green hydrogen were that the reaffirmation that we are staying on the course and preparing for the future. The good news, highlighted by Ms. von der Leyen, is that the necessary transformation has already started. It is happening in the North Sea and the Baltic Sea, where our member states agreed to invest massively into offshore wind generation. It is happening in Sicily, where Europe's largest solar factory will soon manufacture the newest generation of panels. And it's happening also in the northern part of Germany, where local trains are now running on green hydrogen. Hydrogen can be a game changer for Europe. We need to move fast our hydrogen economy from the niche to a scale. As per the REPowerEU communication, as announced in May this year, the European Union will strive to achieve a supply of 20 million tons of green hydrogen by 2030. This is a double from the previous target that was incorporated into the hydrogen strategy at the European level, as published in July 2020. Now the target is 10 million of tons of renewable hydrogen produced in Europe and 10 million tons imported from abroad. That are echoed by the new binding targets for different sectors. For instance, the renewable fuels of non-biological origin, which is the case of renewable hydrogen, at least to reach 5.7% of all fuels by 2030, including 1.2% in the hard-to-abate maritime sector. Another remarkable goal for 2030 is the binding target of 50% of industry to transition to green hydrogen by 2030, with an indication that in 2035 this target should be raised to 70%. In the words of Ms. von der Leyen, to achieve this, we must create a market maker for hydrogen in order to bridge the investment gap and connect future supply and demand. That is why she announced that we'll create a new European hydrogen bank. It will help guarantee the purchase of hydrogen, notably by using renewable resources from the Innovation Fund. It will be able to invest 3 billion euros to help building the future market for hydrogen. This is an outstanding way to power the economy of the future, as you can imagine. This is the European Green Deal that already started in December 2019 and is continuing and being implemented at European level and member state level as well. It is a must to get the money on the ground, not only at European level, but especially at national level. But we need to do both, that we must invest in sustainability and that we must invest sustainably. We need an enabling business environment, a workforce with the right skills and access to raw materials our industry needs, and both the low-end and high-end skills have to be promoted. We need everyone on board. We need much more focus in our investment on professional education and upskilling. This is a must of the Program for Recovery for Spanish from the national authorities, but also at the European level, as indicated in this speech. A key element identified by the European Commission so far is the role of SMEs and the European Union industry. Whether we talk about chips manufacturing for virtual reality or cells for solar panels, the twin transition, which is addressing the green transition and the digital transition, will be fueled by raw materials. Lithium and rare earths, and also precious metals that are catalyzers, for instance, in the electrolyzers for the renewable hydrogen, are already replacing gas and oil at the heart of our economy. By 2030, the European Union demand for those rare earths metals will increase fivefold. And this is a good sign because it shows that the European Green Deal is moving fast. The not so good news is that just one country dominates the market. So we have to avoid falling into the same dependency as with oil and gas. This has repeatedly remarked by the Vice President of the Spanish government that we do not want to substitute a dependency on oil and fossil fuels, but by another dependency on technology supply. And this is why we want to promote in this thorough approach the policy framework of addressing the whole value chain of the different technologies and the business models that are behind. So just to finalize, this is where enters in the trade policy comes into play. New partnerships will advance not only our vital interests, such as the import of new commodities, for instance, renewable hydrogen or its derivatives that could be in the form of methanol or ammonia. Not only these communities, but at competitive prices, but also our values. Trade that embraces workers' rights and the highest environmental standards, like, for instance, the taxonomy adopted at the European Union level, is possible with like-minded partners. European Union need to update the links to reliable countries and key growth regions. This is something highlighted by the Commission. And for this reason, the European Union announced the intention to put forward for ratification agreements with Chile, Mexico, and New Zealand, and advance negotiations with other partners, like, for instance, Australia and India. All in all, we think that the European Union will identify strategic projects all along the supply chain for renewable hydrogen and renewable sources. 3 announcements were particularly relevant in this regard. I would like just to mention a European Critical Raw Material Act, increase the financial participation of important projects of common European interest. This is something which is up and running for the supply chain covered for green hydrogen, but is possible to be expanded to other renewable solutions, and the creation of a new European Sovereignty Fund. With this, I just wanted to mention what are the priorities in Spain, the priorities in terms of regulatory framework and the program for recovery, that this is set in the same framework of the European level priorities and axis of action for the next coming years. And this is the main messages that I wanted to convey to all of you. Just to finalize my intervention, I would like to wish you all enjoy a fruitful conference and exposition, and thank you very much for your attention.